All right, so welcome everyone. This is our Wednesday class, first day of the term, um, joint health and balance. Okay, so this class should be fairly similar to the last 8 weeks if you run my mobility and flexibility class, with the addition of some balance work. So we'll probably eliminate some of the facial exercises. So if you're familiar with my class, when we sit down and we start off those facial exercises. We'll probably eliminate those just so we can have more time for the balance aspect of this class. So as far as equipment, yoga mat, you could have a light dumbbell nearby, and then maybe even some resistance bands so we could strengthen our lower legs, lower body a little bit more. But outside of that, it's just going to be standing, chair, and yoga mat. So you should be fine with that. So let's go ahead and actually start with some balance work, okay? So we'll go back and forth between standing and sitting, and then we'll finish off the rest of the class on the yoga mat on the floor. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, Debbie, good morning. So, right, just easy right here. Feet together. You could be barefoot if you like. We're just gonna go ahead and just start off. Let's see how many calories we burn on this one. I'm gonna put this under yoga. So let's just stand here. We're gonna get a light stretch while we're also working on our balance. So just looking left to right, just left to right. Feet are close together. Up and down. Eyes are open. Just looking up and down. Okay, close. So eyes are closed. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning.
So again, right here, just standing. Just be mindful if your ankles are shaking a little bit. Just kind of hold your posture. Open your eyes. All right, and then with our right leg, we're just gonna do a little bit of mobility work while also working on our balance, okay? So mobility work here, we're just gonna swing. I'm still same posture, and I'm just gonna swing my leg, my right leg, just forward and back. Okay, so just forward and back. Let's switch. So switch feet. Now we're on our right foot, left foot swinging forward and back. If you have a little bit better balance and if you're comfortable, you could also do like a high knee drive. So just come a little bit higher and swing further back. The high, back. Very good. While we're still here, let's go ahead and start ABCs. So just feet together still, right leg first. So elevate that right foot about 4 inches off the ground and then just start your ABC. So again, just starting here. Switch. Hey, Ella. Hey, Josefina. Hey, Debbie. Sarah, good morning.
Morning.
A lot of, there's 4 of you with your cameras on. Awesome. 5. Oh my gosh. Can we get everyone? Good morning. Sarah's gone. Sarah got shy. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's rest. Hey, Carmen. So let's rest our feet. We're just gonna be here and then let's start with some of our typical stretches that we do in the warm-up. So let's just go right hand across. So yeah, and then in this class, we should be burning a little bit more than our typical mobility and flexibility, just because we will be on our feet a little bit more and slightly more active, but not too much. So let's make sure you're getting your walks in. So yeah, I have a client that we've kind of hit a plateau and we're both not too happy that there's not hasn't been much progress lately. So I spent a few hours yesterday just kind of researching, what's the deal, how come the progress isn't happening. She's pretty disciplined on her nutrition and the game plan that we have for her nutrition program. But let's go ahead and bring that right arm back, push down on that elbow, stretching that tricep. But yeah, so and she's very active. And then she tells me she gets good sleep as well. So pretty much the 3 factors that kept popping up on most articles and videos that I was looking up was either poor food tracking. So, if you are tracking your food, everything that you're consuming, but then sometimes you're a little bit too lenient, or maybe you forget to track that juice or that drink that you had. Sometimes some condiments, if they're high in sodium, you can retain a little bit more water than needed. So let's go trunk rotations. And then so yeah, so another factor was you're just really efficient. Your body has become efficient at burning calories. So now you have to unfortunately reduce the amount of calories you consume. And the last factor that was mentioned was poor sleep. And with poor sleep, usually stress levels a little bit higher. And if you don't have poor sleep, but you're just stressed all the time, then that also happens to retain water and fluids a little bit more. So that could lead to an increase in weight sometimes, even though you're maybe in a caloric deficit. And then there's a couple brief mentions about hormones, but not too much when it came to weight loss when you're considering caloric deficit. So yeah, so trying to figure out, but a lot of the things that were mentioned, let's go ahead and go back to our balance work. Let's go ahead, right foot in front of our left now. So, I know it was one of those things where we've had those conversations and those topics have got brought up, and we're hoping maybe it'd be like some extra secret news we weren't aware of, but it was just the same common factors kept appearing. So yeah, I think we'll see how she feels about it, but I think sometimes, and then myself included, on the weekends, sometimes I'm a little bit more careless about tracking and enjoying myself, but let's go up and down. But when weight loss is a priority, and you got to be a little bit more disciplined. So hopefully we'll see how, hopefully we figure it out. But yeah, I know it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. Has anyone ever gone through something like that and then figured out, oh, maybe I should do something else, or maybe you found the solution to that issue? Let's go left to right. Close your eyes. Yeah, make sure you feel safe. If you don't feel safe, open your eyes and separate your feet. Open your eyes. Right, very good. And then let's just elevate that hind left foot a little bit off the ground so you're just on one foot. Your ankle might be shaking back and forth. Drop that heel. Okay, and then now we're just gonna do our heel to toe rocks. So just standing here and just heels to toes. Yeah, like for me, whenever I have a spike in weight gain, if it's like 2 or 3 pounds, I don't really think much of it. I just assume it's water weight. Um, if if the needle starts moving, like a quarter of a pound or half a pound every few days or something, then I kind of know it's that. But there's been some weeks, and it's usually happen around the holidays, of course, or around my birthday, which is coming up. And usually we go to all you can eat sushi for my birthday, and there's been times where my weight goes up 7 pounds in one evening, just because I pretty much make sure I get my money's worth. And let's go ahead and do our quad stretch. Again, working on balance here. So yeah, so I've had those spikes, and obviously I don't think I could lose the 7 pounds immediately from one day to the next. So usually when it's a sudden weight gain like that, or Thanksgiving is another time that usually happens too. It usually takes me maybe like 2 weeks to get back to normal. And it's kind of sad because you're just indulging for an evening, and then it takes 2 weeks to kind of cut back. But yeah, but at least my switch, I know that what my body needs, and it's usually a little bit of more cardio, walking a little bit more, or running, and then just fine tuning what I eat. But yeah, and but yeah, I just can't. I'm hoping, for my client that we figure it out because yeah, I can't imagine how frustrating it is when you're doing something correctly and trying hard and you don't see much progress. It reminds me of my college years of being a cross country athlete. Took me about 4 years of training to improve 10 seconds in a 5 mile race. So very frustrating. Uh, Very good. We're gonna do standing hip openers. Okay, so we're gonna drive knee forward and then out. Just focus on the right leg first. Okay, switch. And what? 10 to 12 on each leg. Okay, very good. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit more active work. So let's go ahead and just do our heel walks around our living space right now. So again, just we're gonna start off with our toes first. So just on your toes, give me some toe walks here. So walking on your tippy toes, activating those calves. We'll do about 20 seconds each. Let's turn our toes inward. Toes in. Again, just activating your calves, your Achilles tendons, getting some work. Let's go toes out. Bring your toes out. And now on our heels. Okay, so just walking on our heels, your toes are pointing up. All right, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and continue with some standing exercises. So I want you to find a wall. We're gonna do our leg swings. Okay, so this is one that it's gonna give you some nice mobility around your hip joint on that head of the femur. So I'm just gonna hold on to this wall here. Okay, and just swing my leg forward and back. So about 12 to 15 swings per leg. And we'll switch. Then 12 to 15, let's switch. All right, now let's face that wall and swing across our body. Switch legs after 15. All right, very good. Let's have a quick water break. Let's grab some water, 1 minute break. Yeah. Whoa. Great. So we did our right foot in front of our left. Now we're gonna go left foot in front of our right. Okay. Just gonna try to get most of the balanced ones out of the way first, and then we'll go to the chair and then the floor. So just here, left foot in front of our right, about 30 seconds. And then just to confirm, did everyone get an email from me about this class, about just a reminder? Thumbs up. Okay. I think I think when I send announcements, it doesn't always send an email, but if I reach out and email the class directly through Canvas, it does trigger that. So I have to do that moving forward. All right, left to right. Let's go up and down. Oops. Makes me sweat. All right, and right here, we're gonna close your eyes. So just make sure if you don't feel safe, open your eyes, separate your feet. I could tell this one's more challenging for me than right foot in front of the left. It's easier than this one. Left in front of right for some reason. I'm shaking a lot. And open your eyes. Whoop. All right, and let's elevate that right leg off the ground. Yeah, on my right side, I could definitely feel like my IT band on my right leg is weaker. Felt this quick sensation running down my leg. Right. Reset. Let's go ahead and grab our foam roller so we can do our shoulder work. If you have a broomstick, that works too. But we're gonna try to get rid of the standing ones first before we transition to the chair. So, got this pinata stick here. Oh, let me check the chat. All right, great. Well, I'm glad everyone got the email. I know some people didn't get anything from Monday, so went a different direction on this one. All right, so right here, left to right. Oh, so every year I have to go and recruit, and it's, for my upcoming cross country year. And it's probably one of my least favorite things to do as a coach, because I'm trying to convince high schoolers to come to a junior college. And I don't think any high schooler gets excited about going to a junior college. So let's go on that left shoulder a little bit higher. So anyway, it's already an uphill battle. And outside of priority registration and some free books that we offer for the kids, which is actually a little bit more than I got when I went to Chico. I don't think a 17 or 18-year-old, let's go 30 degrees, really understands the difference between tuition that costs, especially if they've never had a job, tuition that may be $1,000 a semester to tuition that costs $8,000 a semester over the course of 4 or 5 years. So, usually, let's go 60 degrees. That's more of a selling point for the parents. So the kids just kind of goes over their head, $1,000, $10,000, it's the same thing for some of them. So been doing a lot of recruiting lately, and let's go 90 degrees forward. So yeah, yesterday I was about on the phone with 4 different recruits for about a total of 3 hours. And yeah, it was and it was the same script I had to repeat for 4 different times. And some students had some good questions and some didn't. Some just very shy, and it's kind of awkward. You're talking to this stranger about this college that's not your number one pick. So I had that conversation 4 different times yesterday, and then today I have 2 of those phone calls scheduled later, and then a visit to a local high school to promote our college too. So hopefully we got some, because yeah, and yeah, it's probably like I said, you're just a car salesman for college when you're doing that. So
You know, a lot of us had to work 3 or 4 part-time jobs to pay our way through our definitely not first pick college.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I guess those days are over. I guess they figured that everything has to be given to them.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. It's I don't know if I'm sure I've shared my story since I've been here for 5 years now, but yeah, like I went to a state school, which definitely more affordable. It's 30 degrees more affordable than most schools or UCs or private schools. My parents, we came from low income families, so I qualified for financial aid. I got some grants too. I got $1,000 for tuition um, while at Chico State per year, and 60 degrees. And yeah, I was silly, and as a 18-year-old, I wasn't really well educated on finances, personal finance, interest rates, any of that stuff. So let's go front here. So I remember getting my first credit card, and it was for $150. And I was like, is this a joke? Like $150? Like, what am I gonna get with that? And of course, at an 18-year-old, it was $150. This is back in like 2005, 2006. Let's go back, at about 23% interest rate. And I don't know what that means. I'm 18, I'm not worried about interest rates, and I just know there's a minimum payment and that's all I have to do. And long story short, I left college with and any student loans that were all it took for me to apply for student loans was to see one of my senior teammates. Let's go behind the back, up and down. Was to see one of my senior teammates eat steak, mashed potatoes, gravy, and like a shrimp skewers every evening. And I'm like, man, I'm eating um egg fried rice over here. I'm just having white rice, and I throw a scrambled egg in there, and that's what I'm eating with some tapatio. And my buddy's eating like a king every evening. And let's go back. So my friend, me being ignorant as an 18-year-old, and this is where a lot of the cartel talk was going on with Mexico, and my friend Antonio was born in Mexico. So let's go ahead and have a seat. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe, and like, hey, Antonio, like, do you mind if I ask you a personal question? And he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, so let's sit on that left hand, right hand comes over. And I'm like, hey, like, what do your parents do? You know? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you eat awesome every night, you know, you have your steak, your shrimp, mashed potatoes. And then he was 21 or 22 at the time, and I was 17 or 18. And so he had like a glass of wine, you know. So I'm thinking this guy is like the real deal right here. And I don't even drink wine and I'm 35, you know, and this guy's 22 and he was drinking wine. So yeah, I'm like, what do your parents do? And he's like, why? I'm like, hey, like, are your parents, your family involved in like the cartels over there? You know, that's what I'm thinking because that's popping up on the news. And he starts laughing and he's like, no, I just, um, all the student loans that are offered to me, I take them. And then I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, like, he's like, go get your laptop, I'll show you. And, you know, and so I grabbed my laptop and he's like, okay, like, here's your financial aid, this is how much you get. And then click on this tab. So I click on the tab and he's like, look, you could get $2,600 in student loans right now if you wanted to. And then I'm like, oh shoot, really? And you know, I like click, 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 and sure enough, like let's go ahead and push here. And yeah, so I did a couple clicks and yeah, sure enough, like 2 weeks later, I had a $2,600 deposit on my account. And you know, I'm thinking my older self is gonna pay for my current life as an 18-year-old. Um, and yeah, long story short, I left Chico State with $51,000 in student loans and about $15,000 in credit cards switch. And yeah, so yeah, Terry, I think I definitely was part of that crowd that you know, thought things just landed on my lap because when I was in college, I just worked during the summers and even during the school year. I worked during the my grad school, but I think I spent, you know, a good amount of time just doing nothing where I could have been working and um yeah, maybe who knows, maybe if I was a little bit more on top of it with work and finances, who knows, maybe I would have gotten lucky and paid off my loans earlier or not even taking loans out. So, but yeah, but the kids nowadays, when I mentioned some of the financial so we did this here, let's go palms up and then down. So just extending our triceps. When I mentioned the benefits, the financial benefits of junior college, um, it's something of very little interest to them. You know, it doesn't have too much of in their eyes because especially a lot of them have never worked, so they don't really understand the value of the dollar. So yeah, so I gotta, you know, with them instead of promoting the cost effectiveness of junior college, you know, there if I mention, oh, look at our cool uniforms, you know, like we have cool uniforms, our uniforms are Nike, you know, like that impresses them more than saving $20,000 in you know, in tuition. And if I mention, hey, we try to go to at least two competitions that are at hotels every year. They're like, oh, hotels, like rock stars? And I'm like, yeah, like rock stars. And they're like, oh, sign me up. Where do I sign? You know, but you mentioned, you know, saving $20,000 and, you know, the parents are like, oh, where do I sign them up? But the kids are nonchalant about it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think the other financial thing you might be up against is they don't know what their student aid package is going to be yet. It's too early in the game,
Right.
right? because
No.
you were still at application time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, but, and I don't know if they think this way or not, but this is an opportunity to participate in college level sports that
Oh, yeah.
they may not have if they go to uh another college or university,
Right.
right? Especially if their body is maturing later than some, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing
So,
too, most of them, most Cal States are Division 1 or Division 2 schools, and most UCs are Division 1 schools. And I could tell you out of, yesterday I went to a cross country meet right here in Long Beach, and then let's go relax that. So elbow in, just here. I went to this meet in Long Beach, and out of the, maybe 200, um, no, because they're not all seniors, but maybe out of like the 60 seniors there, maybe two of them are actually like Division 1 caliber athletes. And sometimes we have it could be like the 30th guy out of the seniors, if you had to rank them, like the 30th person, they'd be like, oh, I want to go run for UCLA. And I'd be like, buddy, like,
right.
sorry to
Yeah.
like, burst your bubble, but if you have the grades to get into UCLA, great. You could probably get your degree or work your way to get a degree there. But as far as making the team, it's not gonna happen. And that's one of our assistant coaches. He just turned 64 yesterday. He wanted to he loved UC Santa Barbara, went out there for school, one of the most beautiful campuses he's ever seen. And he tried out for their volleyball team. And this guy's 5'9", and he was not even, he didn't have a chance. Let's go here and then drop that hand. So what he did after his first year, he transferred to Long Beach City College, and he played volleyball there for 2 years. And then in the early 80s, and then he transferred to UCLA and got his degree. Then he taught and recently retired from Long Beach Poly High School. And right 2021, 2022, he actually ran for me. So he was on my team. I had 15 guys on the team, and he was my 12th or 13th guy ranked. And yeah, he ran for me as a 61 and 62-year-old. Um, and yeah, so he always shares this story, with the kids. It's like, like there's you hear UCLA, USC, and there's a lot of prestige with some of these schools, but like it's at the same time, it's like, well, if you still love the sport and want to continue, give it a shot elsewhere and then transfer there when you're already going into like your upper division classes. And then once you're done with your general education, you could just focus solely on your upper division. But some of these kids want that like right away, and I don't think they understand how fast you have to be for that. So will help us out. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but so what's here? See some neck circles, some gentle neck circles. Hmm. Which let's go ahead and do our performance stretch. So right heel, and that left leg. Yeah, that's with like Julian. We as soon as I got his, he was given a social security number. I created his college fund, and yeah, I was just like, I was fortunate or misfortunate to be a financial aid qualifier, so I had some help, but I think my wife and I are a little bit better off than my parents were. So I know Julian's not going to be a qualifier, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't want him to, be financially buried or feel like he doesn't have many options. But yeah, I kind of started his college fund a week after he was born, pushed down. Yeah, so it's hopefully helps him out or whatever he wants to do. I was talking to one of the boys 2 nights ago, and he was like, Coach, I want to run in college, but I don't like school. And then I'm like, okay, I'm like, so what do you want to do when you grew up? Like, what career would you like? And he's like, well, I heard Long Beach has a lot of trades, and my dad's an electrician. I have a family friend who's going to the welding program at Long Beach City College, so that's why I'm interested. I'm like, all right, what trade would you like to do? And he mentioned welding, and fortunately, I think Long Beach has 9 different certificates in welding. I had no idea there's 9 different types of welding certificates out there, but they are. And so yeah, so he's very intrigued. He's like, yeah, I don't care much for like English class or anatomy. I just want to weld and get my certificate in 2 years and help my family out. I'm like, all right, cool. So and I told him too, I was like, I have a family friend who's a plumber. He's a plumber for UCLA, and the guy's making a way more money than I am, as a plumber. So, and I told him it's not all about money. You got to make sure you enjoy it. And he's like, oh no, like I like, hands-on stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. So yeah, so it's I guess school isn't for everyone, but as long as they're passionate about something, and then I think nowadays, when I was growing up, and I'm sure maybe um for everyone before this generation mainly, now that things are so expensive right now, I think there's a little bit more leeway as doing something that you're gonna enjoy every day and be passionate about and feel happy and joyful every day. But nowadays, if you're still if you're doing that but it's not paying the bills, which they're gonna be having a tough time. So I know most of the kids that I've coached for the last 12 years, maybe a couple of them are out on their own being successful, and but most of them are still working hard and trying ends meet. So
Well, the trades are becoming more and more important.
yeah,
And, and try to find a good plumber. I mean, I could find 10 people with an MBA, but I try to find a good plumber who's not booked up for the next 6 months. It's absolutely ridiculous.
yeah,
But the thing for selling that is that the problem with being, a plumber electrician is that physically it's so demanding. So that's what you're offering. You're offering the physical fitness so that they can pursue that trade in a healthy way. Because, people in the trades, their bodies wear out.
oh yeah, yeah, I bet I have a family, like I said, family friend and a family member too that are plumbers, but yeah, I don't know how much about their knees and their back pains that they have too, just from bending over and stuff like that. It's definitely really taxing. Um,
Because they can go back in their 50s or 60s and study English literature.
Right. Switch. Yeah, I mean, I was having a conversation with my wife about it, and I thought about it during like right before COVID. I always had an interest in aviation, and I was like, I live down the street from Long Beach Airport too. So I was like, maybe I might try and like get that like license, and then who knows, like maybe do get the hours and maybe find a different career path. But it's still in the back of my mind, but obviously it's one of those things that I gotta factor in family time and stuff because it's a lot of time away from the family. But you see right here over our head, you see a plane flying over like every 10 minutes, and it's one of those planes where people are getting their pilots so license. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do our standing exercise here. So just sitting to standing, both feet, and no hands. Okay, so let's do 10 of those. Just standing, fairly easy. Nothing too demanding. And remember, try not to rock too much. We don't want to use the momentum of our torso to rock up. We just want to be lower body strength here. Do two more. Okay, relax. Shoulders, just kind of pump your heels back and forth right now. I think culinary arts would have been really cool too, to just like be like some like badass chef and like just cook awesome things all the time. I think that'd be a cool trait too. So just eat well. I'd probably be really chubby though. So let's go ahead. Either extend that front leg. So right leg either extended or elevated for this one. So again, no hands, just up. And if that's easy enough for you, you feel like you need a little bit more of a challenge, then elevate it. Right here. And if extending it's too much, then just bring the heel in a little bit, and that should give you some assistance, okay? But again, if you could elevate it, let's do 10. We'll switch. The left leg now is elevated. And again, if you have one leg that's a little bit stronger than the other, feel free to, elevate that leg or lower it. Do some more. Very good. All right, last thing we'll do before we grab our yoga mat is we're gonna do our leg rotations over the chair. So just get posted up at the counter. I have an item here, so I have my rest here. And I'm gonna do 8 reverse and forward. Okay, so just reverse and forward. Switch. Good, once you've done your 8, let's go ahead and grab your yoga mat. Grab your yoga mat, transition to the floor. All right. So we're just gonna belly down on our elbows, slight stretch on our back. All right, let's put our hands where our elbows are and push up. All right, let's bring our glutes to our heels. Drop your elbows if you can. Let's bring your right arm under. So let's reach. Switch. Very good. Let's get on our knees. Here's one of my favorite stretches, just like how it feels around the groin. So here, bring the leg out and then just lean forward. Right, come up, turn your torso towards that leg, so rotate your torso and then lean towards it. Switch. So kneeling, that comes out, forward. About 120 calories right now, so not too bad for a less active day. Good. Right, here, rotate your torso, lean towards it. Already October 16th. Goodness. That, nice. Right. Last couple of exercises or stretches, we're just gonna be on our back. Sit up position. We're gonna do knee drops, so arms to your side, and just drop left to right. So your feet are still making contact with the floor, and we're doing 8 on each side. Alright, so once you've done 8 on each side, I'll just finish my 8th one. That's gonna be more like a crunch, so heels are elevated, your knees are still over your hips. I don't want them too forward or too far front. And then just slowly. This one, you're gonna feel it a little bit more on the side of your glute. But just stay kind of grounded to the floor. On 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 8. All right. Last but not least, book openers. So stack foot on foot, knee, hip on hip, hand on hand. And give me 8 as you follow your hand back. And come back. So just following back. Six, 7, 7, 8, 8. And let's switch sides. Bring their last one before we conclude. So then give me 10 on each side. Just make sure everything is stacking. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9. Alrighty, everyone. I think we are good for day 1 of joint health and balance. Terry, thank you for the conversation. Appreciate you. So, any questions before we head out? No questions? Anyone doing anything fun this weekend? No. 132 calories, so not bad. Usually mobility and flexibility is right under 100, so cool. Awesome. Well, everyone enjoy your weekend. I think we have maybe another 2 weeks of our schedule as far as daylight savings, and then after that, we have more sunlight in the morning, which I'm honestly gonna be bummed about because I got home this morning from my run at 6:30 and it was still kind of dark, and I felt like Batman out there in the night. But yeah, I think after the daylight savings, it should be bright by like 5:45 or so. But anyways, even though it's getting cooler, make sure you're still hydrating and eating well and resting plenty. So, all right, folks, I'll see you on Monday. I mean, Monday or Wednesday. All right, take care. Have a good
On
weekend.
Monday.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Likewise.
Thank you.